Good morning, I'm Robert Vassell, Chairman of the Board of Directors, and I'd like to welcome you to PSE Credit Union's 65th Annual Meeting. I'd like to introduce the 2021 Board of Directors. First, there's Dr. Karen Newman, Vice Chairperson. Narkita Guzman, Secretary. Kenneth Netzel, Treasurer. Darlene DeMarco, Director. Robert Moulton, Director. And Steele Nolan, Director. And last but not least, Dave Tates, Director. Now I'd like to call for the motion for the approval of the March 7th, 2020 annual meeting minutes. If I can hear a motion.
Mike Matus, I motion.
Is there a second?
I, Justin Spencer, second the motion.
Okay, that's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion has passed. I would like to hand it over to Kenneth Netzel for Treasurer's report.
Hello. 2020 was an excellent financial year for your credit union. Total assets grew from $151,697,029.68 at December 31st, 2019 to $179,507,147 at December 31st, 2020, an 18.33% increase. 2020 net income was $1,128,555.74, 0.67% of average total assets. Total capital grew from $12,961,428 at December 31st, 2019 to $14,298,401 at December 31st, 2020, a 10.32% increase. Share growth was 18.43% and loan growth was 22.11%. Now I would like to introduce the Credit Union President, CEO, Joseph Anderson, for the President's report.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with everyone today at our 65th annual meeting. I would like to begin by introducing my leadership team. Deanne Sanley is my Executive Assistant and Human Resources Manager. Peggy Cook is Vice President of Finance. David Leuenberger is Vice President of Operations. Cheryl Schill is Vice President of Lending. Tabitha Bazinski is Vice President of Marketing and Member Relations. And Sabrina DiGiovanni is Vice President of Branch Services. Dan Summers is the manager of our Strongville branch. Sherry Smith is the manager of the Medina branch. And Francine Simon is the Training, Compliance, and Safety Manager. Strength and hope, two words that describe PSE Credit Union and our 17,000 members. As we enter 2021, many of us hope to see better days ahead. The past year's unexpected events certainly have tested us all. Dealing with financial, emotional, and even physical challenges has become a new way of life. In some industries, the world has turned upside down. Every one of us is adjusting as we address the COVID-19 crisis. Yet as we learned during the first week of January, there's still work to be done. Despite what we've seen in the news and on social media, we remain hopeful that what unites us as Americans is stronger than the forces that seek to divide us. We encourage all of you to think of how we can be a part of the solution to respectfully find our common ground and embrace the values that unite us. When news of the pandemic hit in the first quarter of 2020, PSE Credit Union quickly took action to help ensure the health and safety of our members and staff while continue to deliver member services. The lobbies of our 3 branches were temporarily closed as we transitioned to drive-through only service. We encourage members to take advantage of our digital and self-service channels, and you did just that. Many of our 17,000 members faced income loss, unexpected business closures, layoffs or reduced hours, illness, and other COVID-19 related issues. PSE employees jumped in to offer budgeting guidance and planning and lending assistance through loan payment extensions to help ease the financial burdens caused by the pandemic. This work continues, and your credit union is here to help you if you need it. The pandemic crisis has taken a tremendous toll on frontline medical and other essential service providers. In 2020, despite the pandemic, PSE's employees and members were able to raise $10,000 through our annual fundraisers and donated it to the Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospitals in December. Members often seek our assistance when taking critical steps toward achieving life's biggest goals, and we take pride in helping them realize their dreams while keeping them on the path toward financial freedom. In 2021, your credit union will continue to keep its commitment to making the financial well-being of you our top priority. Finally, despite an unprecedented pandemic, the credit union has remained financially safe and sound, never losing sight of who we are and why we are here. In closing, on behalf of our staff and volunteer board of directors, we want to thank you, the members of PSE Credit Union, for the trust you've shown your credit union over the last 65 years. Strength and hope. As we reflect on the past year, it is important to remember that our greatest strength is in the service to you, our members, and that should fill us with hope as we look to the future. Now I'd like to introduce Tabitha Bazinski, Vice President of Marketing and Member Relations.
Good morning. I'd like to start out by saying thank you to the members who responded to our online member satisfaction survey last year. We sent out an email blast to 8,289 members asking for feedback, and we had 1,074 members respond. This was a 13% response rate, the same response rate as last year's survey. You provided us with a tremendous amount of information. We appreciate the time you took to provide your responses because it helps us find better ways to serve you. From your feedback, we were able to continue to make product improvements, such as our new and improved online banking program that was introduced last March. We introduced debit cards for easier access to your health savings accounts earlier this year, and launched a new way for members to connect with us through texting and web chat. One comment that was repeated over and over again is how friendly and professional our staff is. This comment was not only reflected in the member service section on our survey, but it was also reflected in the Net Promoter Score portion as well. Net Promoter Score, or NPS, is a loyalty metric used to measure a member's willingness to recommend the credit union to friends, family, and colleagues. There are benchmarks in the financial services industry, and scores can range from -100 to +100. Just to give you an idea of how we scored, I can tell you that banks average a score of 34 NPS, credit unions on a national average score 62 NPS, and our very own PSE Credit Union scored a 72 Net Promoter Score. We're up 1 point from last year. This is very exciting because we've moved the needle in the right direction, even during this unprecedented year of the pandemic. We continue to provide excellent member service in spite of all the challenges that we faced. PSE is very proud of our staff and members alike for their continued support and unwavering strength to make the most of the current situation. We will continue to make doing business with us easy and frictionless. We will be conducting another member satisfaction survey in July, since we're always looking for additional ways to improve our member service. Please feel free to let us know how we're doing by sending us any comments or questions, suggestions that you may have to make our service better. We love hearing from our members. Last but not least, I'd like to take a moment to share with you a little bit about our philanthropic partner, Rainbow Babies and Children's Hospital. As you may know, we've been working with Rainbow Babies since 2012 as a PSE changemaker for their annual Rainbow Radiothon. We've done many fundraisers and special events through the years, such as our Kids Carnival and Community Shred Day. Although this past year we had to cancel most of our special events, including the Carnival and Community Shred Day. We were able to hold a socially distanced Community Shred Day in September and also held other various basket raffles and employee jeans days. In doing so, we raised enough money to make our $10,000 donation goal for this wonderful organization. I'm proud to say that with our donation this past year, our grand total donated to Rainbow Babies since 2012 is a whopping $85,000. I'd like to thank all of our members for their continued support. We couldn't have achieved this amazing accomplishment without you. As we move forward through 2021, we are going to hold 2 community shred days, one in the spring and one in the fall, where we'll collect members' personal documents to be shredded. Watch for the dates to be announced early next month. As a reminder to all those viewing our annual meeting, please be sure to register your name and contact information in order to be entered into the Visa gift card drawing. 5 lucky winners will each receive a $25 Visa gift card. You must be registered in order to be entered into the drawing. Winners will be announced on Monday morning. Now, I'd like to turn it over to Cheryl Schill for the Management Loan Committee report.
2020 was an outstanding year for lending. Members counted on their credit union for some of the most competitive lending rates and unmatched service for their personal and home financing needs. $43.4 million in loans were dispersed in 2020. We look forward to delivering even more exceptional experiences in 2021. We recently introduced our new unsecured home improvement loan with rates as low as 5.99%. Our home equity promotion kicked off on March 1st. Rates are as low as 2.65%. If members need to finance home improvements, buy a car, consolidate debt, pay for tuition, or even plan that dream vacation, we can make that happen for you. Our process is quick and easy. We'll even cover $500 of closing costs, which in most cases result in no money out of your pocket. Please visit our website at psecreditunion.org or call us at 440-545-5135, or better yet, come in and see one of our outstanding loan officers at our Parma, Strongsville, or Medina branch office locations. We look forward to serving you. Now I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Karen Newman for the Audit Committee report.
The Audit Committee certifies the financial statement fairly represents the financial position of the credit union and the results of its operation in conformity with generally accepted accounting principles. The committee retains GBQ Partners, LLC, to perform an annual audit of PSE Credit Union's books and records. I'd like to turn it over to our chairperson, Robert Vassell.
Do we have any unfinished business? If not, we're going to move on to new business. Seeing none, I'd like to introduce Robert Moulton for declaration of dividends.
Savings and checking accounts are declared quarterly and paid quarterly. Christmas Club accounts are declared at the October board meeting and paid annually on November 1st. For specific rates, they are posted on the credit union website. And now Dr. Karen Newman will report the election results.
Since the available positions on the board of directors were uncontested, balloting was not necessary for this year. Elected to serve 3-year terms are incumbents Darlene DeMarco, Steele Nowlin, and Karen Newman. Now, I would like to move on to the director's report. Last year, as I was leaving the annual meeting, one of our members and I were chatting while we waited for the elevator. The question she posed was, just how are we really doing? Remember that at that time, we had just completed a week of our stock market doing roller coaster ups and downs, the likes of which we hadn't seen in a long while. It was just a few days later that the board members received information from Mr. Anderson explaining that we were putting our pandemic policy into effect. It was a chilling moment hearing the words, pandemic policy. I was trying to think back to when we had discussed something so ominous. The credit union was now in a proactive pandemic mode. Very quickly, we were thrown into an entirely new world with entirely new vocabulary and regulations. Businesses across the nation and the world were shutting down. Suddenly, we were redefining which businesses were frontline and which were not. Of course, being a financial institution, PSE was frontline. And very quickly, our management and staff were adapting to the newest in health regulations for the safety of both members and staff. The office was closed, and the drive-through became a lifeline for in-person transactions. As many staff members as possible began working from home to keep contact minimal within the building. Accommodations were made for members who needed one-on-one contact or required access to their safety deposit boxes. Safety for each person was taken into consideration with each transaction. The 2 o'clock hour became wine with DeWine for Ohioans as we paid close attention to daily broadcasts from Columbus regarding our current status with the virus. New vocabulary terms such as new normal, social distancing, PPE, virtual meeting and appointments, and sneeze panels came trippingly off our tongues. Shortages of items previously easily found came in the shape of masks, gloves, hand sanitizer, and toilet paper. Who would have thought these would become highly prized commodities? Work and school took on totally different formats, which would need to be changed almost daily to adjust to the effects of the virus. Sports without fans became the norm. Masks became the fashion statement discussion around the water cooler as sequence and color and personal hobbies defined our individuality as we had to mask up. I found a quote that sums up what we've experienced this past year, and I'd like to share it with you. The right leaders come to the forefront during times of crisis. Management immediately took action. Offices closed, staff worked from home. Communication between the credit union and its members became vital to be able to get information out quickly and efficiently. Stress was high on everyone's part, since this whole new world we were facing was an unknown. It worked. Business went on as usual. Certainly, there were bumps along the way as everyone managed the learning curve the pandemic threw at us. Even when the office reopened on May 4th, I happened to be passing the building as I saw a relatively empty parking lot, yet more than a half dozen cars in the drive-through line. Sneeze panels in place and floor stickers to remind us of distancing worked inside. It worked. I can honestly say that we learned a lot from this pandemic at each level. Each one of us became leaders who came to the forefront. From the board's perspective, we learned to adjust our meetings with the use of conference calls and Zoom meetings. Ideal? No. Safe? Of course. Did we make it work? You bet. I also reflected on the seriousness of our positions as directors. We have policies passed through our hands each month, and after the pandemic experience, I view each one with a new seriousness. Some of the policies are routine ones that are utilized each and every day. Some, like the pandemic policy, are ones we may see once in a century, yet each one is just as important as the next. Management was in the forefront every day. Management brought new meaning to the word adapt. When the regulations and rules seemed to be changing daily, it was up to management to adapt. Stressful? Yes. Did they make it work? You bet. Daily, you stepped up during a crisis, the likes of which we have never before experienced. Our resilient staff stepped up in the forefront every day. Stressful? Yes. Did they make it work? You bet. It was the adaptability of each of you that made it all work. You were on the front line, seeing what would work and what would not. It was your input that kept the credit union offices safe for all. Our members are real troopers. You responded to all the adaptations to help make the credit union keep functioning even under these adverse conditions. You called. You used the drive-through. You made appointments. You used online banking. You masked up. You remained pleasant and patient with the new norm. Stressful? Yes. Did you make it work? You bet. Now we have a light at the end of the tunnel with the vaccine on the horizon. Hopefully that will relieve the restrictions of the new norm and help us to return to our previous routines. We thank everyone who helped to make PSE's year successful under such adverse conditions, the likes of which we hope not to experience again. May we all be able to meet again, face-to-face, at our 2022 annual meeting, grateful to have survived such a monumental event. And now, the Chairperson's Service Award. On behalf of the Board of Directors and the senior management team, I would like to present Robert Vassell with this Visa gift card as a token of our thanks for his continued leadership as our chairperson over the past year. It was quite a year, and we appreciate all his efforts in making things run smoothly. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Karen. Without further ado, we can adjourn the meeting. Thank you, members, for participating in the 2021 annual meeting. We look forward to seeing you next year. Thank you.